Okay, so today's trading was crazy. I did go on tilt today. Was not cool, and I can say luck. I pulled through, but they still were calculated. I had already given up. I had just purchased a more correct Apex account. I heard somebody chomping off at the mouth about statics are the best ones or something or whatever to get, and I only heard one person ever say that, and I was new to Apex, and I'm a contrarian, so everybody and their mother was getting the regular standard, with the dynamic, with the where the limits are adjusting, with movements and everything, just a regular standard account, and I go and I get something different. And it was killing me. My if I went below, I brought the account down by $625. That was it, and I guess right now I'll make the announcement. I did fail one time, and no, I didn't announce it or show it, but yeah, I was like, just really just flawed. But so anyway, today, when I saw that I had taken so many hits, I had decided to roll, and I knew the moment was coming for the reversal, and I kept trying, and I actually caught it and was able to recover all the losses plus some and be in the green for the week. Alright, so now I'm just gonna start off from here on this, because I'm gonna bring in another video. I'm gonna create another one from the Apex account. So for right now, right, what gave me such a strong, because as you see on the record I had put in, I had gotten, it was this one here. Why did I feel so comfortable getting in here? Right over here, and also as you see here, I wrote in the prediction, I forgot to push the up after that. It was to create one going up. I was working over here on the Apex account and bouncing back and forth and looking or whatever, but I was supposed to put another line going up to show it's going to go up after that. So anyway, right here we have an immediate rebalance that occurred right here. So I felt that the lowest it can go was about here. So once it pulled up, I was comfortable with what I was doing. The immediate rebalances can be areas where price bounces off of and runs. So this is not the main reason why I felt so comfortable getting in with such a small area of data to work with, without confirmations like this or like this. This is a stop run underneath this here. This here was beautiful, and this was just lovely. I love when price does this, where there's a now usually it's a fair value gap that's here. So now I'm seeing that it's probably lovely and beautiful to see an immediate rebalance there as well. Michael will be able to tell us if that is a stronger thing, and rather than just a fair value gap. This thing came down, it stops here, punched in a little bit, tiny wicks there you can see, and then runs off real hard. So yeah, it was a really hard push up, and we see over, where is it? Where did I get stopped out at? Over here, yeah, right here. I got stopped out right here, and I just knew, I just felt it that I should pull it down. But anyway, sorry. Back to the point. The main thing that made me feel very comfortable and to get in here and to do the stacking that I was doing on Apex, you'll see, was this right here. You can't see it too well. This says, let me see if I can have it to highlight. No, I'm not able to get on it, but Right here it says body of W1 fair value gap. So let me see. Let me do it. Yeah, let me come here. Let's make this. Let's do this correct. I'll just use that one. Okay. Let's clean up the chart for a moment. Okay, there we go, right here. This was it. So we have fair value got from this high to this low, and I was getting chopped up around all through here because I was thinking that it would bounce off of this here and do what it actually did here. They talk about trying to catch falling knives. That's what I was doing, trying to catch falling knives. So yeah, so that's what was happening. But right here, I said, okay, it's pressing through. At a certain point, I had stopped and saw and recognized this body here. Bulk of the volume is in the bodies, and we can see here that the close is that 255.00, 255.00, and the low 241.25. I mean, this is a weekly chart, so that's pretty close, it being a weekly chart. So anyway, price came down to and tapped that. That's what I was counting on. I was banking on this body giving a bounce of some sort, and I did not go as far up as I could have. Obviously, I could have so much. I could have, you know, I mean, I could have at least went for the mean threshold, but gosh, yeah, that was a big bounce. If this fair value gap wasn't here, which actually Michael teaches that you would include the volume imbalance if there's one, so that is here, the body of this one, not the wick, but the body to here is what you would include in this, like an imbalance, this whole thing here. And you know, so if this was not here, if this did not exist, I would have felt very comfortable with like if there were wicks crossing over this and everything. I probably would have felt comfortable with leaving it higher, but it was dropping so much, and it was going crazy. It was just, you know, just dropping. So I apparently did not get to do the silver bullet. So I did see possible movements that I could have used for a silver bullet on the PM, but I had to leave. I had to go out. So let's get that back to 5-minute chart. Okay, so all right, so that was why I did that. Now let's bring up the other chart. All right, so over here on the Apex account, we can see that this was one of my first entries. Was there more back there? Anyway, yeah, so you see I got a bunch of, you know, I was getting stopped out and everything. Yeah, over here I did a little sell, and I don't even recall why I pulled out and changed my mind. But anyway, after all of this, by the time it finally got down here, and by the time I recognized to go look and see what other PD array, which was the body of the fair value gap candle, the discount side of the fair value gap, the body where I chose to, And by the time it came crossed, it was like somewhere up here, and it crossed down into it. And then once I got a signal, once I seen this here, I felt this was it. It was crossing. The parent crossed back up or already there. If it was here, so right here I got in. Now these, what I was using to stack, my mindset was on these green candles here. There was a lesson once where Michael was showing the sell side of the curve and then the buy side of the curve, and that these areas here like mitigation areas. So when price broke above, when price came up and broke above this, I felt comfortable getting in here. And then when price came down into here, into the immediate rebalance, and started running up, I felt that it was more, saying more that price, that it just came and swept under here, ran into this immediate rebalance, this inversion fair value gap here, and it's rising up again. Of course, we never know if we're going to make some sort of drop like that. It could have continued. This movement did here, although it came back in, but this here could have happened here. We don't know. So I got in here, and I did see this here, and I did have my stop loss underneath here. So when price came back up, as you see, I got in again after it rechecked from the immediate rebalance, and it came up. This was another area I seen. I'm still trying to. I'm still investigating. You know how we have these green candles here. We have a wick here. All three of these, they're crossing into this one here. So it's like I always wonder if this makes all of this like one, and then this comes up and it comes into. So you can see the wick comes into these. So now is this all one? Then these all come into that. So it's basically a rough area, and price runs up and finally gets above here and starts to drop down. Now when it dropped down here, I was seeing it because my stop loss was right here, and I said, oh man, I need to pull it down. And but by that time, before I can get to it, and I actually seen it, I hesitated. It was me. Now we know that with ICT material and studies, we don't do trend lines and stuff. I'll put this on here later because I started to see something. So as you guys noted, my last video, I had my brother from another mother, Jason. He was here and he was showing me what he does. He uses trend lines. So of course with him using trend lines, I'm looking, and I know that we don't use trend lines, and we fade trend line ideas and things like that. There's a number of people who are doing pretty well with him, and they get to see things that are happening, and they just rock with how their brain is seeing things, and it's fine. But what I started to notice was I was looking for areas where price. I was trying to line these up, line up these mitigation areas, and just being able to just see the flow. I was just using them. I was like, hey, wait, let me see something. I'll put it out. I was just seeing the flow of things. And even when this occurred here, let me see if I can pull out. Yeah. Okay, so when this occurred, when it finally came up here, I was not focused on it. Right, you know what? This had already formed here. All of this, I forgot. I didn't put this down anytime. I put this after this had dropped and came here. And I probably should have been on the other. Yeah, on the other chart. Anyway, so I'm just going over stacking, and I'll go back to the other chart. Okay, so my stacking again after reject the immediate rebalance. I stacked again, came down, tapped me out, and I knew I should have pulled it away. I didn't. So as soon as it went up, started to go up, I entered again. Unfortunately, at this point, I stopped the stacking. Maybe mental capital was gone. I don't remember exactly, but or some distractions was going on, and I didn't stack anymore. Or it's possible that my next stack would have been somewhere. I guess I was too high up. That's what it was. I was thinking that price was going to come up to a like a 2.5 area, but this was, I think, 2 deviations. It was coming close. I was thinking possibly here, or here. I was getting some squawk talk, from some groups, which again, sometimes you gotta just tone everything out and rock. But you learn to control yourself too, even when you hear things, and you just learn. But price started to, my next, if I was going to stack again, it would have been. Well, I very, very rarely stack like that. And what's happening is that this is the static account, and I'm like, I know how to trade. I know how to do this. Let me do as I was taught to do. So it would have been beautiful if I had all of these entries, 2, 3, 4. If I would have pulled it down. When if I know I more than likely would have entered another one once it came into here to this fair value gap here, because I was targeting here. So this was my main target. So if I would have been able to bring all of those and another one, I would have put 2, I would have put 1. And as soon as it came in here and did this and came up, I knew that this was. I put my stop loss after I entered. This original stop loss is what was left. I put that right back there, and I just knew it would be protected, and it just went. Why it dropped and it took these relatively equal lows here. It came into this little tiny fair value gap, and we have another stack here. We have the fair value gap that's here. And these down closes, this is just strong for me. I just knew it was strong. Again, this trend line was and it rolls up, and I probably would have gotten another stack, and it came down over here. And again, I'm looking not only for order blocks for them to come stack for me to stack on. If you look here, we see that the fair value gap. We see an order block and a fair value gap up in here where price came to, this little one here, but it didn't get to the order block. And when you look across, you see that it did run into these green candles here in the form of like a mitigation block, mitigating some of the holdings here. And then price came up and came down, came into this green here, or straight across here. It's here being tapped again for a second time. You see it was hit here. That's this one here. With this here, see this line here is running across. So this here would have been a good place to put another stack. And that's it really to get to this target. And I would have had all of that going up, and I would have been able to that would have been well enough for me. I hardly ever stack like that. So, but it came up, and it would have been TP at this high. I knew that this was another chance of being taken. But yeah, so that's it. I did get ready to short, and then I got out and I went long. I pulled this all the way out. I started to see it was going up, and I also saw that it was possibly going to 4, which was somewhere around here or so. It was 4 deviations, a place where price would turn around, either turn completely around or do a retracement, and then it did do a retracement. Okay, I'm going to keep this short. This I consider was a breakaway gap. Breakaway from what? A low, a high, or we can even do this one. Like a low, a high, a low, and then it broke through this, low, high, low, and it's staying underneath the nadir of this, this W, ugly W, and then boom. So I consider this as a breakaway gap that it wouldn't be retouched. And so when I saw a price, you know what? I am gonna go back to the other chart because there's things that I can just see and show you better. So anyway, so that's this trade here. And as we see, it came to a certain significant point and ran. I'll show you in the other chart. This video is going too long. Sorry. All right. Okay, let's try and keep this short. Okay, so as I mentioned before, let me put the lipstick back on, the way Michael would say, lipstick. This looks so horrible, doesn't it? So I'm gonna try and make sense of it. Okay. All right. So we know that this is the formation, like the start. Okay. In a sense, you can see like an original consolidation. In a sense, price ran up, out, and then came up pretty high and came down, and it swept underneath here and into into this fair value gap here. This is like the first break of market structure in a sense. Like on a 5-minute, this would be a high, a low, a high, a higher low, and then breakthrough, and then you have a shift in market structure and price breaks down. So anyway, I felt that this move here to here was good for a fib drop. That fib drop comes down, we see that price comes to the oh wait a minute, so because what I'm getting ready to analyze is this here. Okay, this here, which is I was anticipating this but didn't engage. So so once this formation, once price got up to here, over here, right, all right, okay, got it. So look, check this out. So on the up, okay, I have you don't see it here, but I pulled this fib from here to here because this was the governing structure, and I drew a projection. The projection, again, where I got out at was close to the there we go. See, this was the 2.5, but this is here is where I had targeted, which was right by the 2. So we know that around 2.5 is where price can possibly do a retracement. Instead, it came up to the 2 and fiddled around a bit. We have this structure here around the 2. And then we have price, break and continue going up and up and up. Now, as I mentioned, this fair value gap here broke through this structure here. Low, high, lower, low. And then, boom, breakthrough. And, and also cleared this area here. Came all the way up to the top of this, and then came down still within these up closes here. These are stronger. So it basically consolidated inside of that, striking, this area here, like mitigation area. We saw how price stayed here for a while, so you can expect price to stay here for a while as well. This was a part of the thought processes that Michael had taught us. They're mitigating some orders from this side and over to that side, And then so in any event, this is marked off as a 5-minute possible. What time was this? Yeah, it was a 5-minute fair value gap, but yeah, it wasn't the 2 o'clock. The 2 to 3 wasn't the 2 to 3 silver bullet, but this was here. And so when price came up to here and like around 4.5, which is where price came to about 4.5. Let's get rid of this and this. Okay, so this here gave me the feeling and thought that it was going to turn around for a bit. Of course, with the talking that was going on, a pull back to trick greedy buyers, and then a drop is what was mentioned. I did sit and think, because of the long run that we saw. Let me go over to H1 over here. Yeah, it's funny because I actually thought this might happen, but anyway, so what I was thinking when I saw this formation occur, I thought, and when it was coming here, I thought maybe, I was like, just when it was starting to go up, I was thinking maybe everyone's going to try to stack on. Look how strong it's going down. Maybe everyone's going to stack. It's going to jump on trying to continue down. But yeah, so that's what happened. I thought that the thought process was that retail, regular traders were all going to start trying to jump on and continue with this ride down. And then I felt that they would, while everybody's stacking on to continue shorting this market, I felt that it would then do what it did. Of course, I didn't think it would do it this hard. I mean, this is really hard, but all right. So let's get back to the fib. So I pulled this. So first we have this fib here for projections, projecting possible areas where price may turn around at. So the 4.5 is one of the common spots. So it came up and it did retrace on schedule between 4.5. Came down and then it made this structure here and then came down, and I felt right here I can go for, and at this point I dropped the fib going this way down for projections for this structure, because this is a structure. Price had hit this spot here and it came down enough, it swept a little bit of lows here and it came up, swept some highs here, equal highs here, came up and created an M, dropped down. This here is a high resistance of high, low, higher, high. It came up right here. I was so tempted to short. And in the projection, how far? Okay, so because at this point I was suspecting that price would I wasn't completely sure, but was suspecting that price would go back up. But just in case it didn't, I figured it would go for here. So what do we see here? So Michael teaches, we made this projection here. A lot of people like to see perfection, which it does happen pretty often. But this projection in the 2.5 area where price may do a pullback or actual reversal, just like the 4.5 is an area also that can do a pullback and then continue, or do a full scale reversal. So what I noticed was that price right, so when I have this fib pull here, this is actually, this Fibonacci pull is being used as an actual Fibonacci retracement. We have the 50%, the 50 here, and what do you see here? 618, and it's almost virtually in line here. But you don't look at just this number here. You go across and see what structure is there. Bam. You have the mindset that this is going to be a breakaway gap. It came up. It was not. It's only the top was touched and it ran away. You have the mind that this is a breakaway gap. You still have buy side liquidity to the left. Although it made a nice big move up, it still had liquidity to the left, and it had enough wiggle room to come down to here. You have a 2.5, which is the area where price can turn around. You come right across, and what do you have? You have a fair value gap, and you have you have a order block here. This area of consolidation is where you saw mitigation, right here, mitigation, and then there was another move in striking this mitigation area here. Okay, so from high here to low here, come across, and it's stacked on top of that. Boom, 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 boom. Right here is a spot that I felt that price may turn around on. I didn't participate, but right here, as you see, it's very close to the 2.5, which is close to the 618. So that's what I saw. Now, when it comes to the structure, we have like this high resistance here, and then we had another high resistance here. High resistance pertaining to coming down, because a low high, a lower low. We know that these, when you have price, we have a low, high, higher low, that those are easier for price to come down through. So I was looking at this structure here and here and seeing like this big area here. Like if I was to put a box around it, I had that area there. Price came back into like the middle of the box from here to here. And the timings when it was happening, and then finally it was broken underneath here, and it came into here, and then that's when I felt that it had the possibility to start to rise and go up, and we see that's what happened. I was also seeing here, this is XAMD, and D is what came down, took this low out. So the true cycle open, which is the second quarter, was here, and price went up. It came down a bit first, but price went up. So it was feeling again so much temptation to short here, and because you have an open, even though the high has already occurred here, but counting from here, we have a high and a low, and then it closed at around on the low. So yeah, so that's what happened. And yeah, so we have an open and an open. So this was like a doji, and then price came down lower and came to these areas here, and the breakaway gap stayed. A breakaway gap was not touched. Price came back up and came down, and this here, this structure here is beautiful. For a long, you have this little W structure, but you have a fair value gap here. Another one is there as well, but you have this here. Imbalance is rebalanced. It came down, and right here launches off. Came down. Another entry could have been given here. We have this lined up with it as well. Right here, the stack here, and then it ran up very hard again. And I saw these two equal highs here. So when price came back down, when price came back down, because this high was taken out here, this always gives me suspicions just to begin to short. But the way this occurred, this is a low, high, low, low breakup. This is a stronger structure, and it went lower, and it also completed symmetrical moves down here. So when price came up here, because this move here took out this low, think of it like this structure here, this M and this W with the low, lower, low, high, 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 this whole structure here, first the low was swept, then the high was swept. So now this structure here, this here is now a dealing range, and if I was estimating that price would go up, then I didn't do this, but I'm going to do it now, and we can look up above and see how it went. So when price came up here back into this and began to drop, I did suspect that I could drop a fib. This would be an actual fib, used as an actual fib. And there you have it. Optimum trade entry was hit right here. So it came into this 61.8, came down and hit back here again. And took off. And we have price went to, look at this, came right to one deviation right here, did a little pullback, and this pullback is probably lines up with something over there. This high over here. So it broke through, it came down, and this stacked up there, hit that. Blew through 2.5, and look at that, came to 4. I just want to get these candles a little more juice here, and look at that. Is that amazing or what? Do you see it? 4, about here's a half. Look at that. Could you believe it? You kind of get used to, these symmetrical algorithmic movements taught by Michael, ICT. So price came to the 4.5, spiked through a bit, and then ran sideways. What time of the day was this? 16:03. Look at that. So by 1600, price had made it to its point, to its mark. 4 o'clock. And then just consolidated for the rest of the day. Amazing, right? Alright, hope you see how amazing that is too. When you see these symmetrical moves, you can measure them out. Nice. Of course, you don't know when it's gonna, do the entire piece, but yeah, this was pretty strong. I wouldn't have expected it to do so much, but it did it. All right, later.